Talk. So 22 to 25 range, Summer being the lone 25, and Cisco's Post being the lone 22, a couple 23s and 4s in between. That is a draw, indeed.
Don't let those difficulty numbers fool you, though. Cisco's Post is a really hard 22, and some of these 23s are something else.
Now, having played Tony earlier in the tournament, I got a really unfavorable draw. I think I had the Terminator and Summer in there. I don't remember, but I used my set redraw.
We got our first protect. Paranoia Boy laying down Paradise.
So Paradise, that 24th burst in the middle.
Jalo,
oh, he will do very well.
Frozen Fire.
Frozen Fire. Wow, what a protect on that. So now here comes the veto. Who's it gonna be? Jalo vetoes Cisco's Post. So you're gonna have 23s or higher.
Take the lowest thing out of the draw. Real classic top cut card draw behavior there.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait.
A little bit of a fake out.
Never mind.
Oh, it was Paranoia Boy who did it. And Jalo vetoes Mozart is back. So there's your 5-song set. Paradise, Frozen Fire, and Speed King in that order, guaranteed. And if necessary, Summer, and if necessary, Dolphin Talk for Song 4 and Song 5 respectively. Looking at this draw, there's a good chance Paranoia Boy, I say, is favored to win Paradise, just seeing him perform and actually playing this song against him in a prior tournament.
I mean, Jalo has had a much rougher path to get here, so.
And if you're in that rougher path coming from prior matches, prior tournaments, now keep in mind, Tony's been playing a lot of other tournaments as well, but he had the bye into.
I mean,
out of the top 16.
Paranoia Boy is the king of multi-game tournaments at events like these.
Oh, no doubt.
He'll enter everything and he'll place in everything. And I believe I'll go ahead and share a little bit of a tidbit from a event organization back channel where we have a channel named
in terms of
Paranoia
multi-game players, arguably one of the best in the world and in the whole
believe there is
community.
a logistics channel for the dance game organizers where we're discussing a player conflicts that's named after Paranoia Boy.
It's a good problem to have when you have a great representative of this community like that, like Tony, doing work in all of these games. You know, Tony is a class act and is great of a human being. Outside of dance games, on top of that, he's been around for a very long time. And I played him across multiple decades, and here he is in 2025, top seed, Project Storm CEO, now about to begin his run.
So I think he's going to go ahead and get a warm-up in, since he's been waiting a little bit. I think Jalo is okay to wait for now.
So baseline shatter, assuming the warm-ups go as planned, you'll probably have about 50 to 52K. Both players will stop unless instructed otherwise by the tournament organizers, of course, or they stop earlier. So it looks like Jalo's opting not to play the warm-up. Understandable, given
just finished a brutal set, saving that energy for later.
Keep in mind, it is 12:17 a.m. Yes, you heard that right, a.m. local time here. So for those of you on the West Coast, yeah, it's 9:17, but it is after midnight here in Florida. So good little strategy there by Jalo to kind of serve. You played a lot just before, and you're about to play at least 3 more songs against Paranoia Boy. You don't want your legs or your mentality to kind of take a hit. There it is, 50K. That's going to be the end of the warm-up. Losers Final, now about to get underway. So, Paradise, Frozen Fire, and Speed King, songs 1, 2, and 3 respectively. If necessary, Summer, song 4. If necessary, Dolphin Talk, song 5. And in that situation, what's at stake? A trip to Grand Finals.
Oh, yeah? Wrong para.
So the biggest thing about Paradise is about 50 to 60% in. An extended burst of 24s capped off by a 7-note 24th burst. that usually is the deciding factor in a song like this. Tony is very consistent on that part, especially in just this song in general.
Yeah, your typical
You can kind of see it in the preview right there if you look closely. Actually, that's more than 7 notes.
Yeah, your typical top 4 caliber player will typically not make a mistake on Paradise until the burst section. So we'll see if these guys are both going to be big gamers about that. I know.
I always make a mistake in that part, by the way. That's why I always veto it when I play against others.
I think I've seen Paranoia Boy absolutely rip that section wide open. I firmly believe he will probably be on a white combo barring any kind of unforced error.
I've seen Paranoia Boy in my first tournament back at Eclipse East in 2023. APC Arzene's Bizarre. That's a 25, similar with the 24.
I was there for that one too.
So Paradise, we are underway.
I really want to see how JLo holds up now in a match like this. Now in our top 3.
So you're going to see that, yes, this is rated at 24. It's not going to appear that way at the very beginning. Kind of like I said in the earlier set, it's going to be about energy conservation.
I mean, listen, these guys, they're going to make this look easy.
Yeah.
This is a 24 through and through.
Both players unscathed. White combos showing with the numbers. That means perfect score through 30K on both ends. Who will make the first mistake? You never know at this stage of the game.
Neither player's blinking.
As both players with an APC 40K in. Gotta expect that here at Losers Finals. That's why they're both here. Incredible. Still nothing. Still perfect.
Okay, get
and
ready.
Here it comes, though. What will happen now?
Get ready to burst.
Here come the bursts.
All right, JLo blinks. Paranoia Boy holds the gold combo through the burst, setting him up for a win if he can keep the entire back half of this clean.
And now this back half is very similar to what we saw in the very beginning of this chart. So Paranoia Boy in position to close out here as long as everything holds up. He's got a pretty sizable lead after that burst, and he did very well in those bursts. Very, very clutch, high pressure. And Paranoia Boy, 99928. Yes, that is 3 9s to begin that score.
I believe that's
single-digit amount of perfects, 3 perfects, and still a great run by JLo. Just came up a little short in that burst. So 7-1-0-2, most of that coming in the burst, but a great run overall. 99112. Imagine a 99K on a 24 being a tournament loss by about 800 points, if not a little bit more. That's what happens in Losers Finals. Not an easy song to 99.
All right, so now on to a much more interesting game 2 here, Frozen Fire.
Now, Frozen Fire, there are a lot of patterns that require very specific foot placement. If you are on the wrong arrow, or even your body is turned left when it should turn right, that could spell trouble for an unsuspecting player. I feel both players are going to be very well prepared for this. Who knows how fresh this song is? I'm not sure how much this has come up in the tournament earlier, but you can kind of also look at the little preview as to what could be happening.
The first time I am aware of this.
So JLo is ready. Paranoia Boy is about to be ready.
He's giving it a little thought. He's having a little chatter. They're laughing. They're having a good time.
Yeah, they're having a good time. Really enjoying the conversation over there. And, you know, and plus just having. Oh, hold on just a second.
But let's go ahead and get started now, as Jimbo addresses some pizza-related matter. Presumably, we'll get started.
So there's a little food order run right over there behind me, but we are underway. Yeah, a pizza run, courtesy of the amazing staff here. So here we are underway. Paranoia Boy with a very slight advantage here, but here come some of those patterns that are going to require that very specific foot placement, including this burst coming up right here. Yeah,
Start on your right foot, don't forget it.
Oh yeah. Both players make it look easy. I'll tell you, that's not an easy
and now the slowdown.
So it's going to be like this for a few beats. That's going to go even slower, but follow this similar rhythm in gallops. So you're going to see a screen of colors here. Look at this.
Jalo with the lead coming out of the slowdown.
So Paranoia Boy up 1-0. Jalo trying to knot the losers finals at one song apiece. Positioning himself to do that. Jalo emerging out of that part with the lead, in position to close out. And that's exactly what he does. 99846 to 99574. We are tied at one song apiece.
1-1.
Might be able to see it on screen behind both players, but the view right in front of me does not do any justice. Number one, what an amazing hall here in Orlando, Florida.
Absolutely.
I mean, this place is massive, and you can't see that.
Yeah. Here's a little glance.
Oh, see, we got the camera action here. Yeah, take a look at the camera. You can kind of look at how high up the ceiling is on top of that. See if we can get that. I mean, this video doesn't do justice as to how awesome this actually is. And this place is a lot larger than it looks even on this, but get a view for yourself. What an amazing job by
it's going to be very interesting to see Speed King here. Paranoia Boy, I believe, perfected this earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, actually not too long ago. Paranoia Boy with a 100K APC all-perfect combo on the 24 here in Speed King.
Let's see if Lightning can strike twice.
And I feel that if you're Jalo, you might be aware of that, so mentally you have to prepare for that. I feel like the pressure's on Jalo in a situation like this, knowing that...
No, not you, Lightning. Like, weather for now. I knew you were going to do that. Why do I say anything? I know you're going to be like, oh, you said Lightning. I knew it.
But the pressure of, hey, Paranoia Boy just APC'd this song earlier in the tournament, that just means you cannot make very many, if any, mistakes at all.
It's okay, Lightning, all right? We still love you. See? Look, love you, Lightning. Lightning, you're the GOAT. You're the greatest. Don't feel sad.
Now, also the other factor now on the other side of that, keep in mind how much Tony's been playing. I mean, stamina is definitely not an issue for Tony. It is, like I said, 12:27 a.m. right here. Tony has played in multiple tournaments. It doesn't look like that because he seems as fresh as ever, but you know, deep down both players, including Paranoia Boy, tired. Tension is building up right over here. Both players on the select screen, so Jalo is ready. Paranoia Boy is ready.
Ready to.
We are underway. Speed King, Song 3, Losers Final. Wow, already a perfect pickup by Jalo. So given, like I said, Paranoia Boy APC'd that before. Now it's not the case, though. He just kind of balanced it out.
It's tied.
So no lead is saved here in Losers Finals here. Now, something like that's got to be kind of like a relief if you're up there, knowing that, okay, I got a very early perfect, but my opponent got a very early perfect as well. They offset, and it's still tied at the end of the day. Some things are out of your control, like getting an APC, for example, but other things, as Tony appears to pick up another perfect, so a narrow 2-1
just
lead.
Just a little late on the up arrow, giving Jalo a little bit of a lead to work with here.
You're still very nervous if you're a player up in this situation, because you know one slight early or late step, or perfect or early especially, and your song 3 run might be in jeopardy. Does not appear to be the case though for Jalo. 75 KN holding on and clinging for dear life to this lead.
I don't think he's picked up a single yellow.
No, he has not.
Since Paranoia Boy has.
It is still, I believe, 2-1. What will happen?
jalo takes game 3.
Is that 2-1?
It's 2-1.
Oh, 2-3. 2-3 on the perfect side.
Oh, I thought you were talking about overall set count.
Oh, all good too. So 2-1, jalo leads. Can close it out with a win on Summer. 2-3 on the screen. Like I said, 99952, not enough in losers finals, because 99968 is your winning score. Now,
so,
if you're jalo,
you mentioned a little bit something about stamina. Let me tell you, I got a chart for you coming up. It's called Summer Wild.
Yeah, for those of you watching and maybe playing that ITG2 20th Anniversary Officials Tournament, yes, it's that same summer you saw 20 years ago here in StepManiaX. And yes, what does it come with? Those big 16th runs at 185 BPM everywhere in the song. This rate, I don't even know what's going to happen here. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we got jalo on an absolute tear, and Tony, who's shown that he's very clutch and can pull out seemingly infinite reserves of stamina.
So if I'm jalo in this situation, I have the advantage up 2-1. I'm thinking, hey, I got a song of wiggle room to worst case scenario. If jalo loses Summer, you still got basically 2 chances to win one song to make grand finals. At the same time, depending on how this pans out, you know, you could be leading for a very long time, mess up in the very end. That's probably even more deflating as a player, potentially being a couple seconds away from winning the song to then finding yourself at a song 5 and the other player having the momentum. So Tony's going to try to be that player to force that song 5 here, and we're going to see what happens.
Just measures upon measures of unrelenting 185 BPM stream. Looks like he's making a little bit of adjustments for sensitivity.
I'm very easy going. Another pizza food run coming from the staff here.
Yeah, figuring out exactly what he wants there for sensitivity.
Also a big factor here too, because, you know, having played on at least one of the pads, you know, this might be a little less sensitive than the average pad. Keep in mind you have the opportunity to adjust the arrow sensitivity to either low, normal, or high, unlike other dance games. So that is also an important factor, because in a song like this in Summer, you're going to be moving around quite a bit here and kind of want almost that higher sensitivity to glide around the arrows. At the same time, do you want the low sensitivity if your foot positioning kind of centers towards the center panel? But here we go, song 3, song 4 rather, underway.
Game 4.
Paranoia Boy must win this to force a decisive song 5. If jalo wins, jalo's going to grand finals. A happy face, and here we go. Tony with the slightest edge, but still early, especially because of what's coming up.
Hey.
Here comes the run. The first of many.
First of many.
I don't think Tony got a single perfect in that. Paranoia Boy building up that lead, trying to swing the momentum in his favor.
Yeah, jalo picks up an early there. Just a little tired, kind of resting his foot on center a bit too much. Now, granted, the nice thing about the runs in the very back end of this chart, there's no center panel, so you can really minimize and save some stamina, but you still got to account for center for a good chunk of the rest of this chart.
Even though this part is very light compared to the rest of the song, you almost have to play a lot more conservatively.
Oh, jalo walks off.
Yeah, Paranoia Boy forces that decisive song 5.
Yeah, depleting him of all of that energy before you even get to the 3 runs in a row at the very
An
end.
understandable concession too. Now keep in mind how much J-Lo has been playing, especially making this
like
run in
Paranoia
losers
Boy
brackets.
at 3 perfect picks. That is a terrifying pace to
So
run against.
if I'm J-Lo, I'm like, okay, I got one more chance to win one of these 2 songs to make it a grand finals.
Just
put that in the back burner.
take the
and
loss
now
and
just
move
focus
on.
Dolphin talk.
Now let me tell you about them funky Dolphins.
Let me tell you about the 24th notes you're going to see in this one. Yeah, just listen to this if you can hear it at home. Yeah, that's pretty much the rhythm of the step that's going to be coming in. Lots of swing 24ths, pretty respectably simple pattern, but timing-wise, not so much.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is anybody's song.
There's a couple of patterns in this too. We'll call them out when we see them.
So you can also see Paranoia Boy appearing to deliberate on the speed he's reading the song.
Yep.
Now I read
Those are eighth notes.
Now I read it 525, 500 depending on the song. So I feel Paranoia Boy reads a little slower than average. So it's actually kind of mind-blowing seeing Paranoia Boy actually navigate these at a little slower speed than average. But at that slower speed, you can kind of anticipate a little bit more.
A little more time
what's
to
coming.
react, yeah.
At this stage of the game, it's about anticipation and not so much reaction.
Game 5.
But Paranoia Boy is as good as anybody, especially at this speed. Song 5 underway, though. Dolphin Talk. For a trip to grand finals.
And there comes that swing rhythm we had mentioned before. Really the defining musical phrase of this whole chart. You are going to see more variations on the pattern, though, as we
And it looks like Paranoia Boy draws
on.
first blood in the form of the first perfect.
Yeah, keep in mind,
and an early.
those up centers. Got to be mindful of your form, Dalo, picking up and early right away. Yeah, especially like the build-up before the second stop, you're going to see a lot of up center patterns. I'll point it out when we get there. Starting about now.
Yeah, and if your foot is too close to that center, kind of like what's going on here, you may feel like you're hitting the rhythm correctly, but if your foot's too close to the center panel, you might hit that by accident.
Really whipping it around.
Paranoia Boy with a lot of wiggle room now. Still lots of patterns that'll come up.
Now you see we slip back into that like 16 note syncopation.
Paranoia Boy
for a
picks
little
up a
bit.
perfect though. So little window of hope here for J-Lo.
And a 30-second burst.
Now if I'm J-Lo, obviously whether the lead swings to my favor or not is out of my control. I just gotta focus on getting as many white perfects as I can to try to hope Paranoia Boy makes a mistake. Does not appear to be the thing.
He's not going to give it up, and Paranoia Boy is going to take game 5 of that set.
What a set. Paranoia Boy off to grand finals.
J-Lo ending his run from pool 4 at 3rd place.
A phenomenal run for J-Lo.
3rd
Bronze
place.
medal here.
What a
at
statement
CEO
for your
Project
first
Storm.
tournament.
First tournament. Incredible. What a run and what a field this is. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more J-Lo. And honestly, if it's me, for the record, I think we're going to be seeing J-Lo in top pool a lot more. What a statement here. Getting understandable congratulatory remarks from a lot of people around us.
Yeah, we got a sizable portion of the community gathered around here as we're going to be getting into grand finals momentarily.
Now with grand finals coming up, it is going to be Chad out of winners, Paranoia Boy out of losers.